FNCS-Finale, also aufs FNCS-Finale. Ich bin echt gespannt, wer hier gewinnt. Seki ist auf jeden Fall im Low Ground. Ja, Seti braucht jetzt auf jeden Fall einen Refresh. Veno ist auf jeden Fall im High Ground. Oh, sie wurden gespielt.
The reconnect is there, positioning perfect from Joe and Vino. No pressure whatsoever, and no team close enough to be able to take height. They control the launch pads, they control the air. Meanwhile, at the ground, it's Chapix now face to face with absolute destruction, and he goes down too. They will not be able to secure a position for a win. But for Joe and Vino, this looks too easy.
It is Clement left as a solo, losing Floki out. This is just a day of solo pop-offs, and here we go with Clement now. 0 builds to his name, the player down below underneath his box. He's going to have to start aiming, getting a shot through the 90 connects, but no, the zone is now catching up. He's only got 3 seconds of tick. It's Tox, and he's out.
Absolutely too close for him right there, but still
Veno ist wie immer am High.
Like rain, these shots are firing straight to the ground, and there is no umbrella to be able to stop the damage. Vino and Joe are looking too good here. 5 eliminations. No team I see at the moment is there healthy enough to wrap them up and try to contest them up top in this game. Milan finally down as well. Vico and Yaisha moving in, but they're also just completely confusing Razzled as to where to go. They're looking up, getting denied. That's not looking too good either. All on wood. Injury down to Krusty. They're falling down the low ground. It's Fast Rogan gets picked apart on the right side. Another big edit. Cone slide in, and Vico's making it look too good and easy. They have a little bit of control, and they might have a chance to go for that final 2v2.
This could be the first time they make a finals. These are the newcomers, the pop-offs of the season. Vico been streaming everything all season, making the finals the Cash Cup, solo, duos, whatever it is, and this could be their time to shine. But up on high ground, Vino and Joe are getting the height taken from them. Vino's got no materials, so he has to drop down as the 1v1 goes up onto the height. It's a solo. I gotta think it's maybe hard find, but Vino starts to go up to the swing, and the huge shot up down, and the massive down below. Vino's been training the aim since all starts. He's hitting the shots that matter. It's a 2v1 situation. This is a highlight moment of his career right now to qualify him through for the finals. It's a 1v1 because Joe has gone down at the backside of the zone, and it's going to go to Vino and Joe with 8 eliminations.
Vino, that was insane! A swing, a hit, no misses, just bangers from the man, and that is how you qualify to finals.
That is a highlight play for the books right there. The swing up onto height using the Spider-Man, the max damage, the drop to low ground, another max damage, absolutely clinical. This is why people rate this player so high for Vino.
That is the best play of the entire chapter, possibly, that I've seen in semifinals in general. We've had reboot rounds that get crazy, but I've never seen such clinical precision like this. A pixel to hit, and he does it. Snap, instant, inhuman reactions. I mean, Vino, this should not be possible.
I keep talking about Twitter clips. If this isn't on Twitter in the next 2 minutes whilst we're here, I don't know what's going on. That is absolutely incredible. You got to think the impact that this is going to have on the drop slots now that Tayson and Thomas HD have qualified from Kondo, or not Kondo at the same time, sorry, Covert. They're so similar. They're both C's, you know. They both qualified from this drop slot now. That now leaves it open for other teams to go there. They're noticing that that launchpad potential is going to be there in that drop slot. Players are winning from there. I think in this next game we could see a ton of players switch that up.
Hey, Covert Cavern is running our entire semifinals so far today, and the best clips we've seen throughout the day. So Zeke, Levin, Sundown, what else can we expect from such a drop?
Fortnite fam, I'm so thankful you guys could not see my physical body just absolutely flailing like a fish out of water after watching Vino's performance. Literally, we interviewed him, and he said one of the biggest tips that he could teach someone is knowing when to turn it on. And in that moment, that literally flashed before his eyes. This is my opportunity. We can go to finals right here. And Levin, Reese, this happens after Tayson and Thomas win the last game, right? So they dip. That means that they start this game with Covert uncontested. and then immediately come back to win, Levin?
It's this moment right here when he realizes no materials, I've got to make a play, and he drops down and instantly hits the one striker pump there. I'll be real. There are not many things you will see better than that when watching Fortnite. That was truly beautiful. And then the win as well. Wow. Vino, I'm honestly lost words. That was just spectacular.
Yeah, those might have been one of just like the best all-around clips ever of showing what you're capable of in just going up, no builds whatsoever. It reminds me a lot of the Boyer clip all the way back in Winter Royale, where it's like you work with the resources you're given, and then sometimes you just put it all together, and it's beautiful. And I mean, the left-handed shot when swinging up, and that's what he was going for. He can't throw himself up above. He's not going to take that 50-50. He was trying to get that first shot, and then the insta 152 on the way down. That was just the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, whatever metaphor Shadow Wager wants to use, throw them all right there.
The walking paradox himself, my goodness. I mean, once again, when it just comes down to raw technical ability, you're seeing it put on full display from Vino there in just literally 5 seconds. 5 seconds of gameplay. Absolutely ridiculous. And we cannot forget, this means Covert Cavern is now completely open. And this is it, guys. We have one game left to try and get either a victory royale or to jump up into top 6 and hope to just make it through in semifinals day 1. There's still so much to play for, and there's still so much that can happen. Really quickly, I just want to touch on another duo, though, Seti and Chapix. I mean, we keep seeing them make it to the end game. They keep making waves on whatever layer they're on, and this could be their opportunity, Levin. They very well could pick up the victory out now.
Yeah, and it's going to have to come at some point. Two of the better players in the region, you know, Resource was waxing lyrical about them earlier, and rightfully so, because these are names that rightfully they shouldn't be in the semis, if we're just being real. And so you'd expect them to be already in the finals, but they've got to pick things up. They've got to find some sort of rhythm in these end games, because like you said, they just keep having these issues where they're getting caught in the backside and not quite able to have the game you'd expect them to have. I'm worried about them. I am starting to get worried, but they have so many more games. They have a couple other sessions as well. And ideally, you don't want to have to go to session 2 and 3 if you're in session 1, but there is those options there for them.
Yeah, and we've already seen a ton of veterans going through. Basically, everyone except Vortex has been in the scene forever. So if you think somebody was going to win Game 5 when all the pressure is on, I would want to give it to one of those duos who has been around for a while. With that being said, though, I could also see Andalex and Xqueeze stealing the spot away when they've already ended up being in the top 6. So if that ends up happening, there's a lot of potential for somebody to push up into just kind of that second, that third place spot, get a bunch of eliminations, and steal away a qual in this final game.
It is absolutely insane. Sundown, anything could happen. Game number 6, we've seen it time and time and again, and we're going to see it again. Vino and Joe, they do claim one of those spots. Now, don't forget, we still have 2 more days of this, all right? Nobody freak out. This is just day number 1, okay? We get 2 more days of crazy action like this, swapping up duos coming in saying, no, we watched yesterday, we VOD reviewed, we're ready, we know Covert's open, we know that PY is open, and we're going to alpha up on this other one. Absolutely insane. Here it is, okay? Check this out. Seti
4 through 9.
We just talked about, right? Like, this is so insane. And just think, after 2 more days of Fortnite action, these names that we're so used to seeing from FNCS to FNCS may not make it to finals, Sundown. It's a scary thought.
Yeah, but they still have plenty of time. Don't forget, there's one more game today.
Yes.
Then our top 6 will be going through. Then there's 5 matches tomorrow, and there's 6 on Sunday. So still plenty of Fortnite to be played if you're in that first pool of duos. But each match that passes is one less opportunity. And as we've seen, duos are seizing their opportunities and they're running with it. So you need somebody who, as Vino says, just turn it all the way on, Levin, right? Just turn it on easy.
Yeah.
So good. This is it, Fortnite fam. Game number 5 here in Europe. Let's see how this all unfolds. Who will claim the victory royale, and which teams will end in that top 6 spot? Reese, Shadow Wager, back over to you.
Thank you very much. The Zeke and the boys. Look, our leaderboard's setting up real nicely right now. That 4th through to 9th is really important, because that top 6, like I mentioned, is the teams who are going to qualify. 1 point between 1, 1, 1 all the way down. It's looking super duper close right now. I'm excited to get this next game and figure out who's getting that final victory, but also who that top 6 is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a waterfall over the leaderboard, basically, right? Any single droplet here and there can change the whole flow of how things look, and we still have one winner, right? 33rd place, 50th place overall. I still have trios in my mind. It doesn't matter. They win the game. It's a low ground clutch. It's a Vino moment. They're going to the finals. It's the final game now, game 5 of session 1. Let's get the semis rocking.
Semis is rocking, but we will be rolling into game number 5, the final match of the day. The one victory royale to separate everyone. Every single team that goes down off spawn now absolutely critical to the leaderboards and their chances at making the finals. We're starting off yet again at the Daily Bugle. The fight, the 50-50 between Noah Aqua and alongside Splash's team.
Line 4 team roll in. Maybe one down. The fall damage. Splash is trying his best to stay alive. James Ador Aqua has a grasp, a firm hold on the neck of the Bugle, and he wins once again. It's going to be an easy wrap-up, but can they do anything with this, Reese? The third game, they're free from the Daily Bugle, but the third game where they struggle to stay alive in the end game.
I'm not feeling so confident anymore, you know? I'm really not. I mean, we need to calm down. My voice, I'm all over after that last game. You know, I got chairs right now. I want to focus on this. I want to see the Aqua and Noah. I want to see them absolutely dominate, right? The first 2 games we saw, they didn't come off spawn. They lost it. This has been a complete flip round now that they've managed to obviously win off spawn. They've got the loot that they need. They're absolutely stacked on this kind of west side of the Daily Bugle, but like we mentioned, they're just not capitalizing on it when it comes to the end games. I don't know if the height retakes aren't good. I don't know, we've not seen a huge amount of the actual fun. We did see that the mid game last game was a bit shambles from them. So hopefully this game they can kind of turn it around.
Hopefully Aqua all turned around right now. Splash getting a big shot right onto him with that shotgun. Unfortunately though, he's starting to get a little bit taken over. He had the element of surprise. That's gone. Now it's just pressure and bullets from all sides. 2 mats left now. Has to utilize position, the staircase, but the chunk splashes will give away what Larry's about to go on from, so they know he's below. 1 floor to block, but now it's time to just run.
Yeah, see what he can do, see if he can work his way around, but no, to figure him out. That's a single build over with, see if the shots can connect. That SMG strong, but I'm not sure if it's a 1v2 strength, and it's not. That's going to be the over for Splash. So Splash was in 24th place before going down there. He's not going to qualify through, but there are still 2 more games for them.
Oh my god, free heavy shotgun shot just completely missed. That's what happens when it's so accurate. The damage is there, but it still doesn't matter. Vico will end up trading his life for that pick, so the timing might be off. But when it comes to Aqua and Noah Riley, it seems like they're the duo that's the comb that can go against the grain of this lobby. A lot of the times by that last game, everyone ends up kind of getting a little bit more passive, playing for the end game. I've seen Aqua and Noah Riley, when they're on the same team, turn things up, get a little bit more aggressive. They might not even be shooting for the win here. They might just try to rack up elim points or just a lot of points in general, force the lobby to play to their pace and hit top 6.
Nah, they're going for the win.
Oh?
Nah, they're going for the win. Yeah. 46 points at this point. Let me hit a little refresh on the leaderboard, do some mental arithmetic, our strong suit for today. They probably need, I don't know, a 10, 15 elimination
45
game.
points, yeah.
Yeah, and let's be real, with the play style, the understanding that Aqua and Noah put out there, it's win. It's a victory royale moment. Remember, if we go back to the actual Grand Royale, Aqua in the final game of the qualifier was the team who ended up winning it. So, you know what? Maybe history will repeat itself.
Seen a lot of historical performances today as well, just from certain players, certain pop-offs we were expecting that didn't come true. Nice block from Aqua there too. Just stopping the rhythm of that shotgun, that's the key to kind of triumphing over it, right? Like you want to make sure when you're up against the auto shotty, you want to, maybe block off one of the shots, force the next person to build, because the pullout time is so long for the gun to get online again.
It's interesting, it actually has a really high, damage output, DPS, but
yeah,
most people don't hit the shots because it's such a large spread. If you're not in their face, sometimes you're better off just using the SMG to spray back. You're going to hit a higher amount of DPS damage onto those opponents at that time. But you know what? In these early game fights, sometimes you don't have many options to choose from. We've seen a lot of players rock with a heavy shotgun, which I honestly think you have to be good at this season.
Open up the dictionary right now, and I'm looking at the word desperation. It's linking me to these teams in the broadcast for the moment. 33rd, 23rd, and 16th. None of these guys are close towards the top 6. They all need the win. They need the massive refreshes, the elims as well. It's tough overall for Coop too. They have just swapped from drop to drop to drop, and they're trying to go all in at Covert Cavern. They understand, Reese, that 2 teams aren't here, right? The 2 teams that have won, but I think every other person on the map understands that too. I'm seeing strangers that I'm not used to in this spot. Kane and Cruel are the only ones that actually live here.
Yeah, it's interesting because Flois is the team who's definitely switched over. Coop is still rotated through instead after switching their drop up multiple times. And it seems now, obviously, Indret has just been finished by Cruel there in the feed. So it's not working out for the team who's managed to switch up. Kane and Cruel are setting themselves up for a big victory, especially, you know, they're only 23rd on the leaderboard. So they need to win this game to qualify through.
They are kind of in their, you know, post, what's it called, the next day after leg day, so to speak. Like, what I'm trying to say,
they're in the domes.
Their calves are just shivering, man. I feel like I've seen them in good spots, but they just choke. It's been 2 games at least that they've made it towards mid-end game, but I don't think they have that experience of just winning a game at this caliber overall. Maybe we have some stats on the back end to see how they do in semis and finals overall, but it seems like today it's just not been online.
Worst thing about the leg day is the second day after that, though.
That's what I'm saying.
They're in the day after right now. I'm thinking about tomorrow. How are they going to do when it comes to that second day? I'm worried for their stability, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I feel like with the experience was still going onwards, it's really good to play a game when all aspects of your game are under your control. When you have a drop spot that's so contested, so splintered, and every game it's changing, that's where maybe you don't have the stability in your legs or anything at all. So tomorrow when they're rolling in, maybe no team comes to Covert. That is an untrue statement because we know they're probably going to be 3 again. But they've had 6 games or 5 games of experience today rolling in, you know, at least against 2 God squads and know how to just break it down.
Well, for Kane and Cruel, like, the thing is, anytime they've got to a set lobby environment, they've not managed to be in the top 10 at all, right? So when it came to all the 3 cash cups, they made finals for 3 of them, not managed to get a victory royale in any of them, and the best placement was 12th. So it's like, we're not really hitting the markers they need to, but this team has never made it to an FNCS finals before. So, you know, they're a new team, they're a more inexperienced team this season, they're on the come up. So if they're managed to pop off the victory royale, like, this is a first time for them. They're managed to make it a first time in the finals, which, you know, we all love to see, let's be real.
Yeah, emerging moment on the big stage. That's what we want to see entirely. 2 duos as well when we're talking about finals. They're returning from the previous MNCS duos final. This is like ultimate trivia of the past. Who are they?
Refsguard Scram, number 1.
Yeah.
It's 2 duos. I'm going to look at the duo list. Just I could screen share if you want. I'm not checking the replays. I have a horrible memory. I just want to scroll down who they are.
Refsguard Scram is one of them. Is it Mustache Malabuka is the other, or am I
no. I think it's... I've got one in my brain.
Yeah.
I think it's Tusen Putrick.
Tusen Putrick? They've told us this stat like last week. I should remember this.
Yeah.
I think it might be Tusen Putrick.
I think it is. I'm gonna check if I'm right. Actually, wait. I can check because I've got that.
They're gonna tell us in like 3 seconds.
No, I was wrong. Oh well.
Oh, you were wrong? I'm not locking that in actually. I'm gonna lock in something else entirely. It's gonna be Floki Clement.
Actually, no.
Nice.
That's a rookie. That's a rookie move, man. That's a rookie move. At least you know I didn't cheat now.
Oh, I completely cheated, you know? That's just how it goes. I literally had this conversation, I think, with analytics and everyone in the call. I still don't remember. Unfortunate.
Wait.
What I do remember, though, is Coop's entire day so far. It's been rough with Frack.
Clement played with Kaizen in Chapter 2.
Oh, okay, true. So a little bit of a
unless it was in some of the qualifiers. So I'm just putting that one out there.
What we do know, though, is that after this duos finals, many other duos are going to want to come back again as well for the next one. So we'll see how it rocks and rolls. Travis and Seti, although they might not be, you know, teammates that played together in the last duos finals or anything like that, in this one, I feel like they're finally kind of finding their form of being halfway 24/7 between 2 good angles and spots. It just seems like sometimes they're kind of tossed a bit too wide in that decision. They get stretched apart a little bit too much in making decisions back and forth. You're talking about shadowing each other. This teams do a good job of that overall. But what are the issues we're seeing so far today for them?
A lot. Unfortunately, you know, like, firstly, if you look at, like, the Victory Royale stats, you know, trying to get a win isn't their play style, not necessarily. They're going to play from the low ground. We've seen them in some of the Cash Cups get 10 elimination Victory Royales from the low, but not necessarily the guys that are going to go up in the high ground in this. And they're not managed to get deep into those in-games. They're not able to get that like good layer, the good tarping. You know, they need a good setup, right? It's that mid-game. It's the 5th zone prior to that. If they get there with like a cap materials, they're totally fine. But they're not managing to get into that position. So it's the early and mid they're really struggling with here.
Once again, we're down to Rocky Reels, South Zone 24/7. I'm thinking about Refsguard and Scram right now and how, you know, buffed up their calves must be. We're talking about leg day a little bit previously, but every North team has had to move over and over and over again towards this desert zone. And I feel like that's a good and a bad thing overall, because obviously having that rotation is tough. But a lot of the times the teams that lose or end up having some of those split decisions not go the right way, they end up learning a lot more over the day, and their later games get that much stronger. So if there is a power game for you know, Refsguard and Scram to clock in, it has to be this one. They've learned the patterns. You saw them overcome crazy zones, Reese, and this one's not that bad.
Well, I think what's also interesting is the fact that when you get far zones, a lot of time you can capitalize on that for Storm Surge much better. Like you saw them, they're boxing up really high on the edge of the congested side, so players can rotate through, they can be totally fine. Whereas other players who pull zone, kind of like X-Squeeze and Andalex, sit on that kind of less congested side, the dead side of the zone, and a lot of the times they struggle more with Surge. Not this game in particular, but it's a really interesting dichotomy of being able to get zone or not.
Exactly, and even if they do or don't, the identity I put on Refsguard and Scram, like from day one, no matter on what team they're on, is just their duo synergy. The fact that they're like glue together. And for some reason today, that identity is not showing through, right? Where we see them mess up, just in that previous game we just watched, is them not shadowing each other. Not staying side by side. Refsguard goes first. I think it was Scram that goes first, gets shot up a little bit. Refsguard's left by himself. It seems like when these guys move, they're no longer the Refsguard and Scram on rotation that we used to, you know, fanboy over and look at how good they are sticking together. There's something different today. It might just be them really wanting to win.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, they're on the bubble, realistically.
Yeah.
They're so close to qualifying. This game is what it all comes down to. Can they hit the top 6 threshold? And this match is the last one, right? And again, like we already mentioned, they are at a negative with the zone. They're going to have to rotate that max distance. With them boxing up on that full congested side, they're going to have to choose when to rotate then. And like you said, hopefully they stick together and make that deep rotation. But we'll have to see when it comes to that next zone.
Every time I watch them, I want to mention that, just looking at how they're actually moving. Are they together? Jocks and Skies, who they work the best when they're actually bullying other teams. They like to ping pong between different boxes, go for these aggressive fights, try to get as many refreshes as possible. It worked in game number 1. They got close a little bit towards the end, but every other game after that, they've been kind of denied. Basketball stuffed on the backboard, and this time too, going for a party, or not a party, a little bit of a fight on the right side, but get third partied from the bottom side. This is beside Tilted. We know it's a hub that everyone likes to move through completely, right, Reese? So they're going to have a lot of teams visiting their box.
Depends what your definition of a party is, really.
True.
Yeah, I've been to some parties that look like this, unfortunately.
You edit walls? Some drywall stuff at parties? Is that what you do?
I just meant, you know, there's 2 people, they're fighting, it's kind of lame.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually not entirely what I wanted to say, but that doesn't matter. But yeah,
Reese likes to do some construction at parties. I mean, if you guys want to, you know, go crazy and remodel your living room,
yeah,
this is the guy.
Hit me up. Hit the Twitter DM. But again, actually, importantly, this is against Refguard and Scram, right? We mentioned the position they set up in. They are now absolutely chilling on Surge. You can see 528 above in that bottom right there. Amplifying Flodax, the team that's trying to fight them. You know, it's a bit of a sad story, actually, for Flodax in particular. He was super good this season, a really good up-and-coming duo, but Rifty actually is on holiday. It's not that sad because he's in Brazil, so it could be worse. But at the same time, it's like he wasn't able to play the finals, so they ended up switching duos at last minute, and making it here to semi-finals for Flodax with Amplify is really, really good. It would be really cool to see kind of Flodax in particular make it through to the finals, just based on the situation that he's had to switch up his teammate that he's been playing with really well.
Everyone really adapting well to change. Lots of duos looking hungry right now, too. So let's talk about stakes. And I'm not talking the meat, I'm talking about, you know, what we're looking at inside these games. We've been focusing on the Victory Royale game after game because whoever wins goes straight forward to the finals. Now in game 5 out of 5, I know you're usually used to watching 6 back home, but this is the final game of the night so far for EU. And the top 6 also qualify through consistency. So you can see on the bottom left, you'll see the teammates, you know, name card, and right above them, the number overall. Even on that big fly-in, the camera angles up in the air, you'll see some numbers beside some teammates. That is their place overall. For Wax and Milad, who are down on Surge right now, They're 23rd overall. This might be the end of their journey today. But focus on who's in the top 6, because whoever that is will also qualify for finals, and that storyline is finally coming into fruition in this game as it is the last game.
I would also probably extend that out maybe to, like, if you see a team who's in the top 10, absolutely a team who can qualify as well. You know the top 6 are the teams who are in the qualification slot, but if they're in the top 10, like Rescar and Scrammas that we're flying past right now, we have the absolute perfect chance for these guys to clutch up. In particular, we've mentioned these guys multiple times this game, but it is just because they are on the bubble, and they're in such a strong position in terms of their materials, in terms of their HP, surge, everything. We know this is the game that they could pop off in.
And they're at 75 points overall. In terms of 6th, it'll be Seti and Chapix that we're looking at right now. They are at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yeah, it is Seti and Chapix, just double checking. Math has been rough today. They're at 89 points, so there is a gap. There's a gap right now. 14 points overall that Rescar and Scram need to climb over. While Seti and Chapix are alive, they've been coming in really good spots overall. 4th place, 13th, 10th. They're getting placement. This looks tough for every team behind them.
Yeah, this is the bubble right now. We see 90 points now that the next placement threshold has kicked in. This is the team who's currently in 6th place. Remember, it could all switch up, though. If a team in the top 6 managed to pick up a victory royale, that threshold is going to go down because they will auto-qualify through. But remember, any team that you're seeing, if you see them above that threshold, they are going to overtake it and be in the qualification slot.
So we're looking at 90 points. That is what's there to beat, and Seti's the one defending it for now. Ziptos 88 right there. Aqua and O'Reilly, you can see the differences. One team on the bottom right side who's playing consistent. Right there, it's pressure. One team on the bottom left that's just been rough and looking for the win. Instead, with 47 points, it's impossible to catch up to 90 now.
Look at Deceptos and Kinzel. This is the team, like we said, on the bubble. Super close to qualifying. Only 2 points behind, but still in 8th place. That should tell you how close things are, but in the map in the bottom right. Look at the congestion on the edge of the zone. So many players will need to make this rotate, and with Kinzel Deceptos down to 70 builds each, they have a couple peppers, but look at the sheer amount of players who are all going to have to rotate at the same time. It's a game of cat and mouse. Who's going to go first? Who's going to create the builds to tunnel in? Seti on the other side of the zone, struggling a little bit, but nowhere near as much as the rest of them.
It's a crescent moon of players on the left side, and the sun is about to rise. This is going to be tough. 16 seconds until they have to move, leave the desert, leave the cold night into greener pastures on the right. But at the same time, there's a river all the way in between. There's so many teams based up right above the reels looking at free tags. And even Seti, who's on a very dead type of side on the right, there's still a few teams around him. He's getting picked apart from all angles.
Be rough for him. Deceptos almost going down there, down to 5 HP before he pops the med mist. Keeping himself back up, but again, not made the rotation. The majority of the players in the zone have managed to push them there. There's also below Stormsurge 119. This is probably one of the most pivotal rotations he's going to make this season. 8th place on the leaderboard, so much below Stormsurge, has to manage to make his way in, and then on top of that, do something, deal some damage. This could be the player I was going to say that he does it against, but no, it is his teammate instead. It's Kinzel. I was thinking the big one pump might come out there, this unaware player, but no, he's letting his teammate in.
Yeah, Deceptos with the unusual strat of med misting in front of a player in a box. Not so. That's his teammate. That's his partner. I like these predator walls, but gotta remember, you cause noise, everyone else notices, it might just absolutely break down Jenga Tower style. This is not going to be something you're going to be looking forward to. You want to make sure all pieces solidified, your base looks good, but at the same time, 170 damage below, it might be time to topple the tower. Deceptos and Kinzel inside the box, and this will be good damage. It's not going to be enough, though. Yes, a refresh. Yes, elimination points is going to be good, but just 8 above. That'll be 16 below momentarily. They're going back and forth. A seesaw of doom. They want to be on the top side.
Yeah, still 8 players need to go down, and this surge threshold's just going to get worse and worse unless they pick up one of the teams that's actually above them on the leaderboard. But right now, Mirza's up above him in the lobby, and they're going to go for that double spray because he seems to be a solo. The surge now ticking down on his HP. They know it. They can't out-heal it. They're going to start jumping into the box. It seems like, yeah, the 2v1 situation comes. They understand that he is just a solo in that box since it's just a single there, but no shots connected, no luck at all. They're going to have to look for players that are managing to tarp onto this next zone at any point. But here we go, still 7 players need to go down, 16 below. 1 bullet will put them over at this point, but they just can't seem to connect. The padders hit the Kinzel, please, no, and they're down to 89 below. It's over, it seems like, potentially for them. Kinzel goes down to Deceptos. No, he manages to pick up the elimination to Mirza, and he's above the threshold.
Above the threshold, but at what cost? Lost inside the zone. The miss will only tick for a little bit. He's found the pad, gliding in, but his teammate is down. at 6th place. Now he is the line. The work done there, I mean, if you want to call it work, it got him to this point, but all the eggs are in Deceptos' basket. He has to carry his team across the line and stay alive in 6th place.
Almost no ammo to work with when it comes to the AR either, so he can't even spray to pick up eliminations to get some of that siphon back. On high ground, Seti and Chapix, however, on the commanding position in the lobby, 5th on the leaderboards overall. All they need to do is have a good game here, and this should be a guaranteed qualification from them. Unlike Deceptos, who we know is on the bubble as a solo with nothing to work with on the low ground, this is gonna be intense, ain't it?
Definitely is. We saw Seti and Chapix in this position, though. They had a max moving zone. This time they get the zone and can work with it. That being said, I know there's a bunch of launch pads up and around. Where's Kane and Cruel? I just saw them right on Seti's POV. They have 2 pads to work with and can really interrupt height. They're in a very good spot near the backside as well to do so. The question is, can Seti and Chapix hold on?
If you're them, you don't want to hold on to height. You want to hold on in the game for placement, but you are not trying to go. There's going to be players trying to psycho up, trying to hit the launch pad, and here we go. This is the moment. Moving zones have begun. This is the time where the placement's really going to start kicking in. Seti and Chapix just need to do something good here.
There might be 20 teams that end up landing on them right here. There's only about 6 that want to see a part the whole game, so rightfully so. They back up in the zone. They launch pad out. They'll be safe for now. Deceptos by himself. He goes down. We'll know exactly what 6th place looks like and who needs to hit it. 95th right now. I want to stay with that 6th place theme throughout the entire game as it swaps back and forth, unless Deceptos does the impossible. Breaking through metal bills. He's on the very backside of zone. No pads. 2 web zips to go, but nothing really looking good at all for him on this backside. He finds a tarp. This looks really good for him overall. Gets the move, but once again, Reese, 148 below, now down to 176. He's going to be forced to fight here with 11 people to go down with 79 HP. This is looking rough.
Loki went down in the Olympiad 2, which is super important because they're right next to him on that leaderboard in your bottom right. Refsguard and Scram still up in this as well, but they're down to 70, now up to 82 points, sorry. So they are down in 9th. They're actually significantly further behind the 6th place team, which is currently at 98 points of Deceptos. He's just trying to heal out the Storm up in that top right-hand corner, but still so much behind Stormster, trying to do whatever he can. On the left, you're going to see up on high ground, it seems like Lecce and Swilliam potentially going for it. And Schmecky, it's a complete mess. This is exactly what I mentioned. The team's going up, left, right, and center, but back with Deceptos. No anything really to work with at this point, but he has managed to accrue himself some AR ammo, so this could be a spray elimination that he may need to keep himself up here.
Wild Boar on the low ground. He's not going to be able to look up at all. We'll see if he ends up surviving. Kane and Cruel are going for height. Aqua and O'Reilly there too. It's a 3-way fight. No O'Reilly all the way up top. There's another pad, but it gets denied all the way on the bottom side. Yes, sir, indeed. Aqua and Noah O'Reilly have gained height in the semifinals. It's chopped by Kane and Cruel. Retaken by Noah, though. He gets the rebuild and once again goes for the big shot. It's all aggression for this team. And they connect side by side once more. Up against 2 launch pads. Aqua and Noah O'Reilly win the fights. No, it's a chop down though.
Chop down
Aqua,
again. It's
can he touch it?
The same thing.
It's fine.
It's the same thing as Pandemonium. It's chaos up on the high ground, but Noah Riley and Aqua are still fighting for it. If anyone's going to hit the mechanical blades then, but now down to no builds. Aqua goes down at the same time, leaving Noah as a solo. He's going to try spraying to the box. It's a 1v2. He hits the shots to connect. He hits the knock onto that. Now that's Kane that's going to go down, leaving Cruel as a solo, a 1v1. So many materials. 60 builds left to Noah.
There's a new team on high ground as well. Who is that? Kane's down. Cruel's in the box down below. Noah can get him down completely, but he has matches to just go by himself. It's Sanji. Sanji and Vo, who've been there every single game, like a shadow behind the scenes. They're finally here in the light, but he gets stuffed out too. Sanji, low on HP. He's basically interrupted so many teams in the mid-game. Finally alive in the end, though. Both going for a few picks left and right, but it's builds that are just too hard to penetrate down below. Metal, brick, nothing to really spray down with those MK7s, and Noah Riley's one straight for height again. 2 more web zits. 2 big shots too. Fovis down 105 with that 1v2. It looks kind of crazy from Noah Riley. He has one more obstacle in his way. It's Sanji, 3 builds above. Who's got the materials though? Noah Riley. It's all or nothing right now for you, my friend. But do you have the builds to be at the high table? Can you go for the big shots? He identifies the player. Sanji up in the sky. Big shot with the Spider-Man gauntlets, but he misses for the first time. Noah Riley now running a little bit low on mats. Goes for a bit of that pressure on the right side. Jumps back towards the back and then takes height. The movement is absolutely phenomenal, and Noah Riley has the high ground.
just him left up by himself. If he goes down in this, it's over for this particular day. He has to pick up the victory royale, but there's teams going up for it. He's making the mechanical plays down to one build, drops down to low, but it's over for Noah Rayleigh.
He's down. Chapix, Seti, first place overall for the moment. They're rolling in and possibly also going for the win. This is a clinical display of how to win the final game. Nuts from Chapix, absolutely glorious from Seti, and that's how you rock in the final game of the semifinals. They're going straight towards the top.
I think a thing that we potentially just missed out on at the exact same time there was Mustache and Malabuka moving up to what was 7th. However, with that victory royale, that will be them up into 6th now, actually. So for Mustache and Malabuka, clutched up massive in the end game, but a huge congratulations to Chapix and Seti for not only being first, but picking up the victory royale in the final game, and in style, missing one shot, but hitting the next.
A symphony of results all the way towards the very end, from the top of the board all the way down to the 6th that qualify. Absolutely beautiful from Seti and Chapix. A nice run from Noah Riley and Aqua as well, was so close. And to see Kane and Cruel Reese all the way at the end, going toe-to-toe with some absolute Fortnite legends. That's what we like to see.
I mean, that had my heart racing. I was ready for the Aqua and Noah comeback. I'm thinking, is this Grand Royale? Is it the qualification system? It's the same thing. Final game, ready for them just to go all the way up to height. But, I mean, we've got to give it props to them. They tried in that final game. They put on an absolute show, but they were absolutely no match for Seti and Chapix overall.
Absolutely not. It was so close and an awesome day overall. The format is great. That's it, though, from me and Reese. Reese, by the way, that was an absolute blast, man. So much fun casting with you.
That was amazing. That was great. I mean, you get to cast your Shio. This is the day made. Let's be real.
We have to see exactly what Zeke Sundown 11 think on the desk, because today was an absolute glorious day of Fortnite.
Thank you guys so much. My goodness, this was insane. This is the storylines, Levin and Sundown. You know, we talk about these things, right? We literally just talked about Seti and Chapix before we began this game. I'm telling you, it's like we're writing the book ourselves. Congratulations to them for finding themselves that little moment to just say, in game number 6, we're going to walk away. We're going to earn that victory out, and now they don't have to worry, Levin. They can just take it easy and wait for finals.
Yeah, I want to say I wasn't ever doubting it, but for a moment I did start to doubt it. You know, we're tickling through all them 5 games, and I'm thinking to myself, surely these guys don't choke, right? But as we said throughout the day, this is one of the better duos in terms of when you're looking at the personnel, and they finally got things going in that final game. Sundown, they did it eventually, right? But they will be playing in the finals.
They did it eventually, but additionally, too, they did it through consistency and getting the victory royale, which has some very interesting implications on the leaderboard, as Shio and Reese ended up talking about. I think Malabuka and Mustache might have snuck their way right into a qualifying spot. We saw them, and I believe it was 2 or 3 of those end games. They were very much so getting the consistency and placement points, but with Chapix and Seti closing it out with the victory royale, stealing a bunch of points away from other teams as well, and then auto-qualifying, they did a ton of duos, a bunch of help here at the end.
Absolutely. I just can't believe this, man. And just look across the board, right? There's so many of these duos that almost made it, right? I look at Noah Riley coming into that final moment, being left alone, top 3, and it just wasn't meant to be, at least for now. But the question becomes then, Levin, did they make it in that top 6 today, right? Did they earn enough points to maybe just make it through, or will they have to come back tomorrow to try and fight once again for either victory royale or one of those top 6 spots?
Look, it's going to be close. I don't know if they did, right, in terms of how many points they had when O'Reilly eventually did go down. But, you know, you're right in terms of when we saw Agra and Noah going up for height, we did sort of start thinking, oh, hold on a minute.
Oh, no, yeah.
Is this happening? And look, Noah Riley did spectacularly, right, in terms of as a solo, really trying to just take the game by the scruff of his neck and making it his own. But then as you can see here, it did just sort of come when you're always going to have struggles as a solo on high ground, especially where his resources started to whittle. And then you have Seti and Chapik looking up at height. It's never going to be an easy situation. But look, for these guys, the only sort of silver lining is, look, a lot of the best teams in these sessions have qualified through to the finals now. So if you didn't actually make it through today, in theory, it should be easier for you in the next couple of sessions, right? That would be the only thing that is a positive for these guys.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot more room to operate in that circumstance. But I think if Noah was able to just kind of really quickly flick out and shoot that Spider-Man web slinger out, you might have been able to just get a nice little Loot Llama rain right down on top of his head, get the refresh. Instead, miss the shot, player dropped down on top of him. And that's when we talk about, hey, you have to be able to seize the opportunity like Vino did. And unfortunately, Noah let it slip between his fingers.
He tried to replicate it, man. He said, I saw Vino. I saw him do it. What if I could do it? Let me try. Unfortunately, it did not work out today, but remember, it's still okay. We have 2 more days of competition, 2 more chances. Let's take a look at the winners from these first 5 games. This is semifinals day number 1. If you're just tuning in, I'm telling you, you missed some of the craziest games. And if you take away anything, go back and watch game number 4. I'm telling you, Bino and Joe there finding themselves the victory royale in the craziest play I think I've seen so far. You need to make time and at least go watch the end game. But again, congratulations to our winners here. Remember, the victory royale ensures automatic qualification to finals. But now, Levin, Sundown, what we have to do is take a look at this right here. Our standings, we got to see which of the top 6 have made it in. And right now, First Dash and Malabuka, they make it through. But look, Levin, turn your attention to 10th. Loki and Clement, they were not, I mean, it wasn't close, but it is close, you know?
Yeah, those guys didn't quite get the job done, but of course they have tomorrow and Sunday as well. When you look at that top 6, though, a lot of really strong duos made it through. Of course, Malabuka and Mustache sneaked their way in. Kinzel the Siptos going to now be battling it out against DKS's duo and Benji and Savage at Tilted Towers next weekend. And of course, and the Let's It Squeeze did a brilliant job to get in second. And look, Grols and Kowski, actually, this is the first time they're going to be making it into a finals themselves, right? So a really, really huge result for them, getting first in the semis. Going to play their first finals ever next weekend. Like that's massive for these guys.
Yeah, and have to really respect the game plan coming out from Grols and Kalowski, as well as One Lush and Fury. You see there, the 81 and 86 placement points, they weren't necessarily playing for the victory round. They could say, hey, we make the end games, know these other teams are going to be pressing, going to be taking chances, and we just play for that top 6. And then for Malabuka and Mustache, hey, sometimes you look outside, the stars end up aligning, and it all ended up putting together that a team who was above them in the top 6 ended up snagging the last victory round, because otherwise, Zeke, they would have been on the outside looking in by 9 points.
I know, and that's what I think is so interesting about this format, Sundown, is like, literally, if a duo is ahead of the pack, right, they get the victory out. Suddenly, it's, yeah, they got themselves that qualifying spot, but now you look at everyone else, and you say, wait a minute, there's a vacancy here, and now where are all of us relative to each other for these points? And that's what makes it so interesting, right? Game to game, this can change. It's so awesome. Before we say goodbye, let's take a look at the predictions. Let's see how we did. Now, guys, I'd like to point out, I've been right.
We were all right.
First W. Listen, Levin, it's about me right now.
Okay,
I got my first W, baby.
Yeah. No, we'll give it to Zeke. I want everybody to congratulate Zeke. Be sure to hit him up and tell him you did a thing today. You finally did a thing. But look, we all went for these teams because they are the better teams in the lobby, and all of them had probable cause to win. You look at Bino and Joe, Thomas and Tayson out of Kovac Cannon, definitely were strong teams. We think that Kovac Cannon is now going to be a point of interest for sure in the next couple sessions, because everybody's going to be watching thinking, oh wow, it's free, and you know these teams can qualify from it. Rescon and Scram, if goal with a synergy, they need maybe to sort of hit the drawing board and think about what's going on. But Janice and Vortex, the first game, resub, he knew what was up, because these guys were definitely one of the strongest duos. I'm not really surprised by a lot of the teams who are here and who are able to make it through, if I'm being real.
I mean, I just want to say, shout out to all of us. 4 out of the 5 victory royales going through. Shia was close. I mean, if we're talking American baseball, or I guess that's the only kind of baseball, that's a fantastic batting average. So hats off. And honestly, these teams played incredibly well. They did a good job. And no worries for everyone else who played out and didn't end up there. You have 11 more matches to potentially go through. But also, don't forget, we're going to be backfilling those spots. So more of our duos from that consistency board are going to be hopping in tomorrow, Zeke. So there's a little bit of a fresh faces in there.
I know, and but also this means that tomorrow the dynamic, the meta within the meta of the tournament will change again. Everyone is looking to claim POIs, drop spots, loot pass, right? And it's going to change every single game, and then it's going to happen again on Sunday. There's still so much to look forward to here in the semifinals. Now, if you've enjoyed what you've watched, don't forget, you can also view this from inside Legends Landing, an incredible place to check out all of the action. Of course, we have NA East, we have NA West coming up later on today. And don't forget, we're here for the next 2 days of more Fortnite action. Sundown, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Love getting to spend some time with you. Fortnite fam, that's it. We're jumping on the battle bus. We're saying goodbye for now. So as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll see you on that battle bus.
Beep, beep.
Hallo. Greater Epic Legends Landing dropping. meinen Ping. Kevin.
Ja, Leute, bin wieder am Start. Das sind wahrscheinlich jetzt die Highlights. Habe ich irgendwas verpasst? Ich gehe mal kurz in die Lobby und wir gucken mal, wer auf dem ersten Platz ist, weil wir haben schon 22 Uhr. Das müsste jetzt beendet sein. So. Okay, der erste Qualifier ist abgelaufen. Moment. In 21 hours, 2 days. Okay. Also auf der goldenen 1 ist der Jannis Z. Wer hat's gedacht? Schade, dass... Warte mal kurz. Wo ist Varial? Hat der sich überhaupt geholt? Nö. Ja moin. 0 Punkte. 7. Der hat wahrscheinlich einer nicht gezockt. Also dann, wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Haut rein und tschüss.